This is Shelley Craft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the Marcum MicroCap Conference 2017 here in New York City. I have with me Dr. Robert Cucin, BioSculpture Technology, Inc. It's a private company. Doctor, welcome to SNNLive.
Thank you for having me again, Shelley.
It's good to have you back. Let's get started with an overview of the company, and then I'll ask you some more questions.
BioSculpture Technology has a game-changing technology. We can do for obesity, we believe we can do for obesity management what phycoemulsification did for cataract surgery. So,
what size is this market, and when does it begin to be used?
It is a huge market. $2 trillion was spent on obesity-related diseases last year. Only $1.5 billion was spent on bariatric surgeries, of which 15% were revisional. Doctors preserve these procedures for the morbidly obese and the brittle diabetics because they have undesirable sequelae.
So, what you're saying is, besides the morbidly obese, there's a pretty large market out there.
1/3 of the world, 2.1 billion.
And that's mostly type 2 diabetics or type 1 diabetics, or people who are not morbidly obese but are carrying extra weight.
The 40% of the obese patients who have an elevated waist to hips ratio, that's a marker for visceral fat or belly fat. Those are usually the ones that get the type 2 diabetes.
So in terms of your development, at what stage are you now?
We have a predicate device. We've prototyped it. We've tested it subcutaneously. We'll be at clinical testing in patients approximately 41 weeks.
So you need
within a year, within 12 months, in other words.
So you need what kind of FDA approval for this? Because it is a medical device, but
That's correct. That's correct. What's fortunate is, first of all, every obesity control device gets the accelerated access pathway. In other words, the FDA helps you speed it along, number one. Number two, our own device is a predicate. So we will be able to get a substantial equivalence to our device, or at least everybody who's on board believes we will, including some experts who were former chairmen of device companies. And the FDA is approving 90% of what it approved before. With the new indication, we'll put some patients in for safety studies just to prove it. But it's an aspirator, and aspirators have been used in the abdomen for times immemorial. The only difference is this particular aspirator is geared to take fat out without clogging and to do it non-invasively through a trocar in an endoscopic procedure.
So, this is a form of surgery, correct?
Oh, yes, it's a minimally invasive procedure. We anticipate it will take about an hour and a half, about the same scope as a lap band procedure. As a matter of fact, it's the same business model.
What's your background?
I'm a board-certified, Cornell-trained plastic and general surgeon. I acquired an MBA from Columbia to run this company, and I incidentally happen to be an attorney, which helps when you deal with the FDA.
So where did this whole concept, obviously you didn't stumble on it.
Actually, you're right, I did. I mean, serendipity has a lot to do. I was operating on a 125-pound pig, which has no fat. It's nothing but muscle. So I went into the abdomen to basically test the bipolar cautery application we were using, and I found out a 4-inch stroke device, totally not made for this, was able to take out mesenteric fat.
So, are there any side effects from removing the fat?
The beautiful side effect is going to be that the patient loses an anticipated multiple of 7 to 10 times the relatively small amount of this bad gland that we take out. And that will happen within the 4 to 9 months after the surgery, and it will be permanent because the amount of visceral fat you have is predetermined by the end of the first year.
So after you remove the fat, does the person need additional surgery?
If the patient has not that much fat, no. They should be cured of their type 2 diabetes, and that should be it. If somebody's really morbidly obese, you might have to repeat the procedure. The anticipated ratio of body fat to the 3 or 4 liters or 6 to 9 pounds of abdominal fat we take out is 7 to 10 from the animal studies. If we get a lower multiple, we'll still be gentler by design in the go-to procedure, but the company will make more money.
And what's the recovery time on this?
Should be very fast. As any minimally invasive laparoscopic procedure, the worst thing is You can have bleeding, you can have infections, the bowel can go to sleep overnight that the patient has to stay on clear fluids. But they're not the god-awful complications of cutting into the bowel, rearranging the body's plumbing, or leaving behind a foreign body.
Doc, let's get your website out there for more information.
Sure, it's biosculpturetech.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Robert Cucin, BioSculpture Technology, Inc. It's a private company. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive, and we're coming to you live from the Marcum MicroCap Conference 2017 right here in New York City. Thank you for coming on.
Great.